This video is a portfolio of my field experiences here this semester at BGSU. I hope that you enjoy it, and thank you for tuning in. On my first day of field placement at the Imagine Charter School of Clay Avenue, I realized that it was only K through 3. As soon as I got there, Tangi told me to pass out good behavior tickets. Later on in the day, during their reading lesson, Tangi said that they would get 20 minutes to work on their reading work. And when she said it, the children were surprised. And she also said that it did not matter how much they got done as long as they got something done. The fact that I was in a K through 3 school interested me because that is what I was going to be certified to teach after completing the program that I am in right now. I also was interested in this because I wanted to know how the semester would go because of the fact that I was in a charter school. Last semester I was in the context that it was a rural school, so this would interest me. Also, when I was asked to begin to pass out the good behavior tickets as soon as I walked into class, I wondered if she was prepared for me to come or not. But it does seem as though the students respond well to this positive reinforcement, because when they saw others getting the tickets, they began to quiet down as well. The students' reaction to Tangi allowing them to get 20 minutes for work made me wonder if they receive that much time often. When I was in the classroom, I began to check the children's work. When I got to Panthony, he began to get upset when I saw that some of his answers were wrong, and I began to correct them. Tangi allowed for me to grade papers, and while I was grading them, I noticed that a lot of simple math, I'm talking about math that usually first graders master, was done incorrectly. Later on, before the reading lesson was over, I began to see children steal other students' good behavior tickets. The situation with Panthony was interesting to me because it made me wonder if he responds well to correction. Also, when I was grading papers, I found myself being frustrated that the children could not solve first grade math that is taught in another context, like the rural context that I was in last semester. But I found myself not being upset with the children, but I was angry at the school. I felt that they were being robbed out of their opportunity for success. Also, I feel that the good behavior tickets are not as effective as Tangi hopes, because I do not think that the children are learning from it. I only say this because they still talk during their work time and they're stealing the tickets. So I don't think they get really what the tickets are for. As soon as I walked into the door, Tangi again handed me the bucket of good behavior tickets, and I began to grade the students' morning work. Later on, Tangi said that all the teachers were getting observed today, and because of this, a lot of the teachers had to change their lesson around. When the observers came in, they came in during the reading lesson. Students were much less talkative, and they worked quieter on their work. I think that Tangi handed me the bucket of good behavior tickets as soon as I got there, because I think she's realizing that the students tend to respond better to me. I didn't realize how much of an effect evaluations have on the teachers, because Tangi seemed very flustered about it, and I could tell she was very nervous. She had only been there for 2 years. She did tell me that. And when the observers did arrive, I realized that a teacher must be prepared for anything at all times. The fact that the children's complete attitude change expressed to me that they recognize when there is a presence in the room that they should not reckon with. When I came into the classroom, the children were working on reading questions for their morning work. When it was time to use the bathroom, Partavon breaks down and he has to move his clip. Now, I did notice that, but he does not stop. As he broke down, 3 other kids joined him in his tantrum. During the OAA, which is a statewide test that the children have to take, students could not be quiet and they moved constantly. When Tangi told them to remain quiet, they asked, "What am I going to get out of this? Is there going to be a prize for me being quiet?" I think that Tangi had them working on the reading questions to reinforce their reading skills because they're not at the reading level for their grade. I think that's good that she does that. Also, when I saw that the other children began to throw a tantrum because another kid was getting attention from throwing his tantrum, it led me to believe that these kids lack attention. Also, during the OAA, I was reminded a lot of The Wire. The children did not see the value in this standardized test. They didn't care about the test. They just wanted their prize for being quiet. In the classroom, the children played silent ball because they did not have to go to gym. During silent ball, many of the children threw tantrums when they got out. And when Tangi sees that all the tantrums are happening, she makes up a contest to keep a sense of order in the classroom. I also noticed that during the reading lesson, the students were beginning to master their reading. Later on, when I checked to see what was wrong with Panthony because he had thrown a tantrum earlier, he told me that he was upset because he cannot find the letter that he had written to me. The fact that Tangi continues to make contests really makes me question her passion behind her work. She does not seem to take the time out to figure out why all these breakdowns and tantrums are happening so frequently in her classroom. It just seems like she wants to get back to her job as soon as possible. The situation with Panthony was really interesting to me because he continually tried to get my attention while he was throwing his tantrum. Just an observation, but I don't think that his father plays much of a role. So I think that he tries to get the attention of another male figure who will actually take the time out to see what's wrong. When I got to the class, one of the students came into the class with a nosebleed. At the beginning of silent ball, they had silent ball again. At the beginning of silent ball, Tangi did not allow for Partavon to play. He threw a huge tantrum. I mean, he knocked over the desks, he kicked over chairs, and he screamed at the teacher. Also, later on, during the reading lesson, Panthony did not participate during the lesson. And when Tangi tried to get him to participate, he wouldn't. So, she ended up stopping the whole lesson to try to argue with the second grader, just so the second grader could participate. When I saw that one of the students had a nosebleed, I assumed that it was from an accident, but it was actually from Panthony hitting him. The fact that Partavon continues to throw tantrums during silent ball would show me as a teacher that maybe there is a different way of handling him that needs to be pursued. Maybe talking or trying to figure out what is the deeper root of this issue, because every week he throws a tantrum during silent ball. The whole issue with Panthony really shocked me because instead of trying to handle the situation in a more effective manner, she ended up depriving other students of their learning experience for one student. When I came into the classroom, Tangi gave me a stack of papers to organize. While the children were coming into the classroom, Tangi told me that it would take them the whole day to adjust coming back to school from spring break. Also, during the reading time, I saw this being played out in effect. It took the children 20 minutes to quiet down just to start reading. You know, the papers that Tangi gave me to organize were ridiculously unorganized. And it made me wonder, how could she possibly be assessing these children effectively? When Tangi told me that it would take them the entire day to adjust to being back in school, it showed me where her expectations were for her students. It showed me where her expectations were for her classroom. And the fact that her expectations played out in front of me lets me know that the teacher sets the bar for her classroom or for his classroom. When I had saw that a lot of the children lost some of their reading time due to talking, it showed me that the teacher must be in control of the classroom at all times, or content will be compromised. On my last week of field placement, the children were allowed to play silent ball. And during silent ball, Partavon won. And he was very happy. While the children were doing their silent reading, during the reading lesson, Tangi handles her son's mini crisis at school. So she goes to the computer and deals with her son's crisis. I think she emailed him and to see what was going on with him at school. She said it was like a mini crisis, whatever that means. At the end of the day, Taraya, one of the students, was following directions to the T, and Tangi allowed for her to get in line first. I was overcome with joy when I saw the instance with Partavon, because I finally got to see him not only play silent ball all the way through without any tantrums, but he actually won. And I got to see it before I left, so that was kind of touching to me. Also, the fact that she was able to check up on her son surprised me, because I wasn't sure if that was allowed for teachers to do something like that. I wasn't sure. There was a lot of things that Tangi did. One that she was able to check up on her son. That baffled me. I wasn't sure if she was allowed to do something like that. Also, I was glad to see that positive reinforcement was still being implemented in the classroom before I left with Taraya. So that was a good thing as well. My field placement experience at the Imagine Charter School of Clay Avenue really showed me a whole nother side to the education profession. Tangi, my supervising teacher, was a very interesting educator in the way that she handled the students' situations, the way she conveyed content to the students, and the way she handled how they received that content also interested me. There's a lot of things Tangi did that made me question her as a teacher, which I think is good, because if I'm not questioning her and if I'm not questioning my field experience, then I'm not taking anything from it. And I think that this field experience was not that it was better than my last field experience, but it definitely brought a lot more fruit to the table, because I was able to I was able to digest a lot more. I was out of my comfort zone. Even though I was in a familiar setting, I was still out of my comfort zone, because I was with a supervising teacher who was not comfortable with her setting. So I got to see how that works. And so I definitely enjoyed my time at the Imagine Charter School of Clay Avenue. Definitely enjoyed my time there. And I also enjoyed the students. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you for tuning into my video portfolio. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that maybe you took something from it that you did not know before, that you did not know that was happening in the classrooms in urban schools. But I definitely enjoyed myself, and I definitely took a lot from this experience. I want to thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.